Hello friends, welcome to Just TV Plus, the online TV production. Today on News Headlines Review, we know usually all the times we do justice to newspaper, and today on the set with me I have a wonderful and special person that has been on this program for quite a long time. And today we're still going to work together to bring out the best. And I want to assure you that you're going to enjoy today's program. I am BC Arobusoye. The special guest with me is Mr. Olugbenro Samuel. Sir, you're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure being on this program this morning.
Today with me on the set, we have two special newspaper that we're going to talk about. The first one is the Daily Trust, while the second one is the Nation. Let's begin the journey, sir, with the Daily Trust. The front headline says, new revenue sharing formula ready this year, FG. I think let's start from that. When we are talking about revenue sharing, it has already been slated that this year they are going to have a new plan on how to share the revenue among the three tiers of government. But what do you see about that, sir?
Thank you very much. The issue of revenue in this country, as we all know, has been a recurring decimal. I know there was a time there was a very serious clamor for derivation. That is, what you generate is being generated from a section of the country. What percentage are they to enjoy from the revenue that accrue from those products? So it has been on and on and on. And at a point they were talking of 13% derivation for the oil producing states.
Yes.
So the government coming up now with another revenue allocation formula, we cannot just preempt until we see the details of the formula. That is the time we can be talking about it, whether it is suitable or whether it is agreeable or whether it is the best or whether it will even serve the interest of the nation. So that is the time we can just be talking about it. But as a matter of fact, a lot of things are happening which calls for concern in this country. And among such is, how do we generate revenue? How do we allocate the revenue so generated? So it's a welcome development if we are looking in that direction. At this material time. So
you felt that if it's being shared, if the new sharing formula comes out, it will help Nigerians to know where work should be done more.
I won't say it will help Nigeria. It depends on what they package there. If you don't know the content of it, you cannot say, okay, it will help or it will not help. And that's why I said
on the current sharing formula now, it's the FG takes 52.68%, while the state take 26.72%, and the local government take 20.60%, apart from the 13 derivation of the oil producing states. So now what do you think is wrong with this current one?
A lot of things are wrong with this current one. A situation where the federal government will take the bulk of it, that is over concentration of power at the federal level. And that is, you will agree with me, that is one of those things that is causing problem in the country today. That is, at the federal level you have so much and they give so little back to the source where these incomes are being generated. So if it is adjusted, maybe you are talking of 20-something% for the state. Maybe if it is increased to 30, something, and that of local government too geared up, so that what would be left with the federal government shouldn't be more than.
Well, okay. Like how many percentage are you suggesting? Suggesting for the federal government.
In my own opinion, the federal government shouldn't take up to what they are taking presently.
Like
it depends on a lot of factors that to be considered before we can say, okay, this is what would have been okay. You know, the federal government has to take care of the defense.
Yes.
They have to take care of the international and all those stuff. So even some infrastructures has to be carried is the responsibility of the federal government. But all said and done, the bulk of it, I have seen a situation where in Lagos State, for instance, the Lagos State government has done federal road expecting a payback.
Okay.
And several other states too have embarked on similar thing, expecting the federal government to pay them back. So this is to tell you that the federal government might be carrying too much load, and if they can just cede some of this power to the state, I think it will be better.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah, the issue of tension in Lagos, as Igboho insists on July 3 Yoruba Nation rally. What do you think is? You know, initially Nigerians were so much worried for the, in the month of June, this current June that we are into, June 12th, that might bring so much. But later we didn't see much happening. But now the July 3rd, what do you think is going to be? Why is the tension becoming there?
Ordinarily, there shouldn't be tension as such, because what I want us to look at is it legitimate for you to come up and state your mind in a civilized society? I'm not saying Nigeria is not civilized, but we need to get
it right
a little bit above the level at which we are operating now. I think the best thing is for us to allow peaceful agitation, peaceful protest. Peaceful in the sense that let us consider what Igboho and his group have done in the past, going from one place to the other. Were they violent? They were in Ekiti. Did they attack anybody? So those are the things I want everybody to consider. If we are very serious about how to make things right in this country, I think it's not. At least we saw protests. Nigerians abroad coming up the streets and going. You see the policemen guiding them. But the one that they did recently at Ganifa Emi Park.
Yes, in Lagos.
I watch it over the television. You will see the way our security agents were running after peaceful protesters. So if they are left alone, nobody is attacking anybody, then definitely there will be peace. But a situation where we are singing, we are dancing, and some people just come from somewhere and started firing tear gas, then you have provoked violence. And that is what I think we should refrain from. So ordinarily, there shouldn't have been any cause for concern or tension in the land as a result of Igboho coming. Their own is just to parade their vehicle and be moving, dancing and singing, telling the people, sensitizing people that they wanted Odua nation or Yoruba nation or whatever nation they are actually agitating for. So I think there is no cause for that if the government will not provoke violence.
That is exactly what we are looking at. Do you think the government do you think the government are ready to allow that rally to come up?
You see, there is a saying that says, if you make peaceful change impossible, then you have made violent change inevitable. You don't bottle people's anger. When you try to suppress people, you don't want them to express their feelings, then you are looking for violence. Yes, something is not happy and you are trying to suppress it, it will burst out somewhere, somehow. And that's what we need to look at in this situation.
Yeah, let's go into another story. Don't leave National Assembly broke. Ogbe advises rep.
As they are leaving the house, that they should be buoyant, they should be solvent enough, so that they won't be broke, so that they won't become wretched. It's not the responsibility of anybody to advise. They are adults, they should know how to control their life and their finances. If that is what Chief Odua is trying to do, it is they are fully grown adults who should know how to manage their own affairs. It is obvious to everybody in this nation that they collect more than enough money
to be rich by the time they are leaving office. And even that disengagement, the lot of things, incentives that goes with their departure or the disengagement from the house is enough to make even people rich if you are not even collecting money. And that's why they do ask the people in the house today, how much do you take for salary? They are always silent. They don't want it to reveal to the people. All said and done, a lot of figures have been churned out. Yes. Yeah.
Rightly or wrongly, we have had figures running into millions per month. So, and that's why the position has become too attractive. And that's why it has become a do or die affair. Those who are there will not want to leave. And it's so interesting. That's the best position in Nigeria, if I may tell you. Because you are a member of the National Assembly, you can remain there till you die.
Nobody will shake for as long as you have been voted for.
You can manipulate your way and remain there till eternity. It's just making sure that you have enough money to throw around during the election, rig the election in your favor at your constituency, and you remain there silently. Either you contribute to the debate in the house or not. Just sit down there. They will be giving you money.
At the end of the month.
At the end of the day, you can still be appointed as a committee member.
Imagine.
And that is butter to your bread.
Now, CBN releases 50,000 metric ton of mace to 12 cups to crash price. No, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has approved the release of 50,000 metric tons of mace to 12 major producers from strategic mace reserve under the Anchor Borrower program. What do you think about it for CBN to have released 50 metric ton of mace, to 12 called to crash the price of mace? Do you think with this 50,000 ton, do you think any change can come in the hike in the prices of food in the land?
Definitely it will affect the price of items in the market, because that is one of the responsibilities of the government. When you have surplus, you create reserve, keep it in those stores. So when there is scarcity, either artificial or otherwise, that is the time you are expected to release to cushion the effect of scarcity. The central bank has done the right thing when having discovered that the price of maize is going up, getting out of hand. The best thing is to bring it down by releasing. It's the law of demand and supply. So the moment you have more, the price comes down. So that is what they have done. But invariably, the central bank should go extra mile, do more, because it's not only the maize. A lot of things need to be, the price has to come down, whatever happens. Because people in the nation today, they are facing hard time.
Okay. Well, I pray that we begin to enjoy from what has been put out very soon, that things will begin to come down in this country. And I pray we're going to enjoy the dividend. Now, Deputy Governor remains as Senator Rep. Other follow Matawale to APC. You know, the issue of defecting from one party to another party, especially those big wings. Imagine a governor of a state that has been there for who knows how many, for like whatever years that he has been there. What do you think is really causing it for him to defect out from the party that brought him into power, going to, the ruling party? Do you think? Thank you so much. You see, like I have said earlier, that when we were talking about our honorable members in the House, the truth of the matter is nobody will be enjoying the goodies that is in government today that will want to part with it. Okay. And that is what is happening about the defection from here, defection from there. Those that are defecting there, it is calculation, political calculation. They look at it, okay, maybe PDP is not getting it right again. Maybe APC is the party in power. The tendency is there for APC to have firm control by the time 2023 comes around. So everybody will want to move in the direction where sweet things will get to them. And it is not the interest or the willingness to serve the people that propels them. It's just about their stomach, what they will make out of it. So if I see that this party, yes, it has taken me up to a position of fame and become the governor of the land. If I discover that the enablement to be in that position at the next dispensation is bleak, you see them jumping from, they can even go to the less party if they know that that is the position, that is where they are likely to. But what do you think is happening to PDP right now? What do you think is the problem? Because we've seen many of their elected governors being defected to another party, especially to the ruling party. What do you think is wrong with PDP?
There is nothing wrong with PDP. You see people defecting from PDP to APC, and at the same time you will still see some people defecting from APC to PDP. The ratio may be something different, but defection is defection. It depends on the level at which you are looking at it. So those people that are defecting at the local government level, they see that this our ward, unless I align with this party, there is no way I can become the councillor. They will defect. And if you look at, you see, it is like in the local setting, our own local setting at the village, you see it like that. They ask you, what's they say because of this, because of that. This is the person we want. And you know, they talk to themselves one-on-one. If they say this is the person we want, and the party in power does not want that person, the next thing is for them to gang up and say, okay, change, come to another party, and that person will be in another party, and his teaming supporters will fall in line.
The deputy governor is not likely to go with him. Don't you think it's going to be, create problem, in that state between the governor and his deputy? You remember that story, in those state. Also, his deputy didn't go with him, and at the end of it, at least initially they wanted to impeach him. Do you think they are not going to work? The house, almost all the house is going with him. Some of the senators and co are going with him. Don't you think they are going to work against the deputy governor? Or what do you think the deputy governor think that makes him decide to stay in PDP?
You see, as bad as the situation is in the country today, we still have some people of integrity. And they will look at it and say, why? Why should I go there? If I follow him to that APC, is it likely that he will now use me as his deputy again?
Okay.
So if he decides to leave, maybe I can even take up the position of the governorship candidate there and contest as governor against him.
Okay.
So it depends on the angle at which individual is looking at it. And that's why I think the deputy is a man on his own. That I am your deputy today does not mean that whatever you
do,
if you are doing something that is wrong, must I join you in doing it?
So in your own opinion, what do you think the PDP can do now? Because now it's already moving. I think it will, almost all their governors are beginning to move to APC.
This is not the first time people will move, and the movement will continue. The other time, you can remember, a lot of people migrated from PDP and joined APC when the APC was being formed. Saraki was one of them.
Okay.
And those were the people that made the APC tick then. He eventually hijacked the position of the Senate president. Either rightly or wrongly. He was there in that position for about 8 years.
Yes, he was there as the governor of, as Senate president.
Senate president.
Yes.
He was in that position for 8 years under APC. And immediately, he was no longer getting it right. The next thing for him was to move. And he moved. He's back again. So jumping from one political party to the other has been a game. So it is we that are not into politics that sees it as, why are they doing like this? It's unfortunate how many politicians have integrity. And that's why they could be talking of stomach infrastructures. Thank you, sir.
ACF put Northern lawmaker on alert. The Arewa Consultative Forum on Monday said on federal lawmaker from the north to be on the alert as various stakeholders expressed their readiness to endorse restructuring once it is passed by the National Assembly. What do you for the ACF to have put the northern lawmakers on alert? What do you think they are guiding against?
You see, the clamor for restructuring has been on for ages. People have been shouting, let's restructure this nation in a way that it will be able to work. But some people felt, no, we are not going to restructure, And that's why I said it earlier, that if you make peaceful change impossible, then you are creating room for violent change. So it has now degenerated to a point that people are not even clamoring for restructuring again. Let's part ways. That is at a point when somebody has pinned you to the wall. You say, okay, let's negotiate, let's talk. And that person felt, since I have you to the ground, there's nothing you can do. But by the time you take a bite on his leg, and you are ready to say, even today, I must get out of this arrangement. I
must fight back.
Then they will now say, okay, don't worry, let us now come and talk. That is exactly what is happening in Nigeria today. So the politics in Nigeria is so funny, so interesting, but at the same time it is very pathetic. The Arewa Consultative Forum, they are talking to their people, and that's why I like them in the north.
Okay.
I like them in the sense that they know they are very diplomatic. They know how to manipulate things in their own favor. But those people particularly from the south, they will set themselves against one another and start fighting for the remnants, the drops, the crumbs that fall from the table. Whereas the people they will now call, oh yeah, come, let's have a meeting. You will see them in Arewa house. They would have held a meeting, discuss with them. When you get to the floor of the house, this is what you should do. That is what the action group, that position action group was firmly, they learned from our action group.
Okay.
Definitely. And today, those people that are there representing us, they are nothing but stomach infrastructure.
Okay, let's move to the next news. NAS meets Sheikh Gumi, seek release of adopted student. The leadership of the National Association of Nigerian Students, NAS, has met with Sheikh Ahmed Gumi in Kaduna to discuss efforts to ensure safety and security of students in all campuses and the release of adopted students. The National Association of Students.
It's a good thing, but at the same time, on my own, if I am to comment on this, I will say, is that the way it should be? Who is Gumi? Is it the security agent that is to guarantee the release of anybody? And a lot of people are already saying it, that why suddenly Gumi becomes the mouthpiece of the kidnappers. He knows where they are. Our soldiers don't know. Or they pretend not to know. And that is the question on ground. Is it Gumi that should now, the students, okay, well, you say students, they are still learning, but they should learn fast and know what is right and what is not right.
Even the same Gumi was invited by the DSS.
So they say. But because I read it in another media that said, he denounced it. He said, no, he was never invited for questioning. So where lies the truth in between? So which one are we now to believe? Is it true Gumi was invited for questioning? Or is it true that, as stated by him, that he was never invited for questioning by the DSS? So
we wait and hear the outcome at the end of it. But don't you think this is one of those things that the students were afraid of, so that their colleagues can be released freely and they should be stopped, kidnapping them, or even, don't you think these are the things they are trying to do? Since he know them better, at least he know the bandit better,
and collecting ransom on their behalf.
Yes.
So we should continue to pay ransom. Is that what we are saying?
No, what I'm saying is, don't you think that was the reason why they went to him and said, please, Oga, beg these people for us so that they can release our colleague for us, so that, and they should stop kidnapping us.
Whatever is not right has no other name. That arrangement is faulty. If he has information as to how terrorism could stop, he should offer that suggestion to the military.
Is he not offering it? Is he not saying it?
That we should settle them, we should pay the bandits. Look, we should stop being mischievous, comparing the banditry that is going on now with what happened in the Niger Delta. The Niger Delta people, you know their plight. So we should not deceive ourselves. That is where the bulk of the money that is being used to develop this nation comes out from. I learned that somebody went to Abuja from Niger Delta and he saw the way Abuja was put up. And he said the man started crying like a baby. He said, look at it. The money from our land see how they use it to develop. Say, come down and see what we go through, where the money was derived from. I'm not saying the government is not doing anything for them, at least for setting up the Niger Delta Commission and all those appointing a minister for Niger Delta. Yet, embezzlement is the order of the day. So, I'm not saying the federal government is not trying, but at the same time, they can still do more. So, when the Avengers came up and said, Samsam, no oil drilling again, no oil business from our land. That was the time they called them. Yaradua government called them, invited them, talked to them, and said, okay, don't worry, we will do this, we will do that, we will do this. And those people who are involved, they were settled.
Now, the issue
so
of
that
this,
they settled them so that we will have ways to generate money to run the economy. That is the essence.
Don't you think
these ones?
Don't you think the issue of the failure of the security by people? Don't you think that was the reason why the association of students begging Gumi to at least to stand for them? Don't you think because the security men and women in the nation have failed to secure their life and property, that was why they are begging Gumi to please, since you know them, please talk to them? Don't you think that was the reason why?
Maybe we should even beg Gumi to take up the responsibility as the president and the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. Abi, if Gumi is now is the only messiah that we have in Nigeria, because he knows where the bandits, the kidnappers, the marauding herdsmen, where they are hiding. Maybe we should just tell him to take over as the president and the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. Whatever is not right, like I said, is always not right. That is not the way it should be.
But what do you think the government is even doing about him himself? What do you think they are doing
about
Gumi himself?
Okay. You see, one thing I can boldly say anytime, any day, is that insincerity is the order of the day. People that we elected into the position of authority, they are not being sincere to us. That is the truth.
Okay.
So, lip service. Today you say, we have done this, we have done that, we have done this, we have done this. At the end of the day, what do you see in return?
Something different.
Something different. There are a lot of things, a lot of informations filtering out here and there on the social media. How there, in fact, the president admitted that even within the Nigerian military, the terrorists have infiltrated it. And I can say yes, it is true. It is true in the sense that when the soldiers want to move, deploy troops, who informed the Boko Haram people to tell them this is the route they are going to and
this is what they should.
So they lay ambush and make sure they kill them. So there must be inside information filtering out from our military. So sabotage.
I pray it will be resolved one day. Road crashes killed 2,233 Nigerians in 4 months. Road crashes in 4 months. This is just June, and almost this is almost 3,000 people died, being killed on our roads. What do you think could be the solution?
We cannot be talking of solution to it without looking at the root cause of those accidents. What could be responsible for those accidents that claimed the life of people? Negligence could be one of the factors. At times, poverty could be responsible.
Why?
Poverty could be responsible. When your tire is already bad and you need to change it, you don't have the money.
Money to change it, okay.
You are managing. And that is the situation in the country today. You see a lot of rickety vehicles plying our road. Just the person is just trying to make ends meet. The driver driving those, maybe if I just manage these things, I will get a little money to at least to feed my family. So poverty could be responsible. And on the part of government also, the roads that is supposed to be mended appropriately is taken over by potholes. And there is no danger warning signs. So those are the things that we need to really consider. A situation where the road is bad, nothing to tell you that ahead of you there is a dungeon, there is a pothole, there is a gully. And the speed at which you are moving, you continue with that speed. By the time it's down on you, you apply the brake, it may not end well.
Yeah, thank you.
A lot of things could be responsible
to it. Yeah. But what do you think could be the solution?
The solution is
because
the solution is the road safety people should do more, enlightening the people, counseling them. I have friends who are in the road safety. Okay. They organize lecture periodically. They even go to the motor parks to talk to the drivers there and inspect the tires of their vehicle at the park, not on the road.
On the road.
Because you inspect it on the road, the worst you can do is to give them ticket. But when you get to the park, you look at it. You call their chairman, look at this tire.
But it might not be there are some private cars, they didn't go to the motor park. Private owners, they didn't go to the motor park.
But the bulk of the people that are involved in this kind of accidents are the commercial. Okay. If you look at the statistic, you would agree with me that the bulk stops at the commercial drivers. So that the worst that will happen, maybe you have your car, you are traveling with your family, and as you are traveling with your family, how many will you be in the vehicle? So, but the commercial driver, some buses will take 18 passengers. And because he's interested in returns on his investment, overspeeding may come to play. And those are the things that causes accident. You want a trip, if Lagos Ibadan, you want to make it about 4 times in a day. So overspeeding will come into play.
Let's quickly move to the next newspaper, The Nation. 4.2 million Nigerians get COVID-19 vaccination. Have you been vaccinated?
No. I have not.
Then 4.2 millions already.
Out of how many million Nigerians? So when they say 4.2 millions, it's just like a drop in the ocean. We are talking of the Nigerian population just now. My wife asked me this morning, said, what is even the population of Nigeria? I said, we have not gotten any census figure. We only project, we only estimate. And present estimation is that we are in the range of 200 million Nigerians. That
was exactly what
it could be more. It could be slightly lower. But if you are talking of 4 out of 200, it's like as if we've not done anything.
We've not done anything. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So what does it take for us to get the vaccines? A lot of politics are being played concerning that. I won't blame those that are playing politics with it. Because my house should not be leaking and I will now be helping you to chase rats in your own house. I would rather take care of my people first before considering others.
Hey, but we elected them. We put them in those offices.
I'm not saying Nigeria. Nigeria cannot manufacture the vaccines. So getting it in is the problem. And by the time it gets into the country, they now decide who and who will have it. So America will take care of its citizens. I'm sure they are almost through with all the citizens in America. So they will
take care of themselves first.
So recently they were talking of vaccine that they have some that maybe they want to move it to, but moving it to Nigeria, somebody gave an analysis of what it will take. And by the time it gets to the number of days it will take before it gets to this place, and that vaccine would have expired.
Imagine.
So he's now telling them that don't bother bringing it to Nigeria, because by the time it gets to Nigeria, it would have expired.
Are you serious?
So they have it in excess there. It's almost expiring. And they are now looking for where to deploy it. But that person said, considering it will expire by so time, considering the logistics that is involved bringing it down to Nigeria, it will take so number of days. And so by the time it has gotten to this place, it's already expired. So don't bother. Look for other countries around.
That is close by.
That is close by where you can deploy it. Not Nigeria.
Super TV boss was tied with Trump. This issue of this saga of the Super TV boss that was recently killed. I want to believe you've heard about the story.
I heard about it.
I mean, so many testimonies coming out now. What do you think is really the real truth about this matter?
I'm happy you said other stories are coming up concerning the issue. Initially, what we were told is that it was in a place with a lady, a student of University of Lagos,
yes.
And along the line, after some marathons of entertainment and enjoyment, entertainment and coach, there was disagreement between them, and there was a stabbing on the neck and stabbing on the tummy. So, and the man died.
You know, initially, in one of the story, she said the man was chasing him around in the room. I think
that's what I mean by disagreement. Abi?
Yeah.
There was they were enjoying everything together, drinking, smoking, and having food together.
Okay.
It was a joyous moment between them. But all of a sudden, disagreement occurred. How it happened, the dead man is not there he's not here to tell us the story.
Tell us his own part.
But according to the lady, he said he was at a point, he distanced himself from him. She distanced herself from him. So, and in the process, maybe the Lord himself to it again said, why? All this why? You are just keeping me here. You didn't help my school, you didn't help me concerning my... And he gave ATM card
to him, and even the pin.
And give the pin. That whatever amount you want, just go and withdraw. You see? It is under the influence of whatever they might have smoked together or might have ate together. So, or drank together. And I said, go and collect. So, and according to the girl, he said at a point he grabbed him again, banged his head and pinned him to the wall.
He said so. She said so.
So, and started chasing her around the apartment.
The apartment.
Because I'm sure it's not just a conventional hotel. Maybe a secluded apartment where they went to have themselves. So said it was when after he had run to the kitchen and he was still running, chasing after her, that she now used knife in defense of herself. And
yeah, but what do you see about the recent
thing now is that
he tied him.
the man was tied. This one was not revealed earlier. So, and that's why different kinds of opinions are emerging now. If the hands are tied,
Yeah,
who tied the hands?
Who tied the hands?
That's the question for the law enforcement to unravel. So that is my take on that. Yeah. We cannot actually preempt. We cannot actually say this is the truth or this is.
But she's the one confessing. She's the one saying it.
The truth has not emerged.
Okay.
That's what that is my take on it.
There are still lots to come from this.
A lot of revelations will still come and come and come and come.
Okay, let's
tie
wait.
the hands.
Let's wait and see what is going to happen at the end of it.
If somebody who was chasing you around was now killed, tied. At what point did he got tied? So a lot of lies are in it. So which I'm sure our security operatives, when they want to work, they do nice job.
Yeah.
They will unravel the mystery surrounding it.
Final forfeiture, hearing in patient Jonathan's $5.78 million, 24 billion naira, to resume October 7.
Okay.
$5.78 million. That's 24 billion naira.
24 billion naira. Okay.
That the Federal High Court, a Federal High Court in Lagos yesterday adjourned till October 7 to hear the motion seeking the final forfeiture of the $5.78 million and 24 billion naira linked to former First Lady, then patient Jonathan.
So which means apart from the dollar, that is when we are now talking of 24 billion.
Yeah, there is different dollar, $5.78 million differently. And 24 billion differently, separately.
Differently, okay. That is a huge sum of money, which is quite unfortunate. We are now groaning in pains that Nigeria is broke.
And one person is having
we cannot be prejudicial. We have to wait for the outcome of the court.
Of course.
If I am to comment on this is a nation where now we are groaning in pain. We have it on the report very recently that NNPC is not making money again. No money to remit into the federation account. Where we can do, they can give allocation to states. So why is this? Because Nigeria is already broke. When we were supposed to have foreign reserve, the foreign reserve was depleted considerably towards the tail end of Jonathan's administration, according to reports. So it is quite pathetic that we are now talking of so billion, so million dollars in so different accounts. The one of the Ziani, we are still talking about it till tomorrow.
No solution yet.
We have not gotten a clue to how we can get the money back into the country. So a lot of things are happening that gives us so much worry in this nation, Nigeria. And quite frankly speaking, I have to say it's only God that can take control.
But do you think this there's going to be final solution on the October 7th? Do you think there's going to be final solution? Is either the money will be given back to her or be given and returned to the purse of the government?
The question I want to ask in return is that before Jonathan became the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, what was the value, that is asset, that he has? I'm talking about the president.
The president himself.
Should we say declare your asset before you? Yes, at least there should be record of that asset declaration. So the wife too, we need to know what she was worth before they become the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, or the wife of the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So we need to know.
What they have now.
So, and we also want to know the kind of business they transacted that suddenly transformed the fortune to
this huge amount of
24
money.
billion at a go, which is controversial for now. And the several other $1 million that we are talking about. And that tells us how the economy of this nation is being messed up. The money that would have been invested in productive ventures that will yield returns is being kept by individuals in separate banks, using the money to help the economy of other nations. So those are the things that are affecting us as a nation. This morning I was watching the group managing director of the NNPC speaking on the channels with Maupe Ogun Yusuf on Channels Television this morning. He was actually talking about, they asked him a question, and the question was subsidy, on the issue of subsidy, and he's talking of under he used another language to under recovery. So he said, Maupe has actually, you said you are stopping subsidy, and now you are talking of under recovery. Invariably you are saying the same thing. But Mele Keyari said, no, they are different terms, they are different, it has different meanings. So, but by the time he gave his own definition of under recovery and gave the definition of subsidy, to me it is just the same thing, given different terminology and because it is implemented different in different ways. Because we are saying because NNPC sold the crude and use the proceed from it
to buy
to supplement. You know, the NNPC is still the sole importer of petrol,
of course,
into Nigeria.
Yes.
So you bring petrol into the country, and you sold petroleum.
You sold crude oil. And
you bring petrol into the country. So you are now selling the crude oil, the petrol, at a price that is less than the cost of bringing it in, and so that's why you are telling us that it is under recovered. That is the cost of bringing it in. You didn't recover it, and that is what is under recovery. So what is subsidy? Is when you sell, remit money to the government. Government use the money to now subsidize, cushion the effect of, so that people will get the product at a particular price.
Good price.
But all said and done, if you sell that product like you are doing now, bring the money on the crude, give it to the federal government. If the federal government now gives it back to you to go and bring petrol, and government decides to sell it to the public at the current pump price, is it not the same thing as subsidy? The fact that you are doing it by yourself and not remitting it before the money is given for the subsidy, that's what makes the difference. You are talking of under recovery, and that is different from subsidy. Subsidy is subsidy, either under recovery. That is my own take on it.
Fashola, speed violation, not bad roads, cause road crashes. Works Housing Minister Babatunde Raji Fashola San has blamed speed violation for the highest number of road crashes and not bad road. Do you believe what the minister just said?
I wouldn't blame the minister. is the Minister of Works and Housing. His responsibility is to ensure that we have good roads. Yes, he's trying, but is he now going to tell me that all the roads in Nigeria are good? That is the fundamental question. That he want to shift attention from the bad road. You know, I gave reasons why the bad accident happens. It could be negligence on the part of the drivers. It could be negligence on the part of the government. The road that they were supposed to fix is not fixed. And because of the gully on the road, somebody that, and even road signs that are not there where we're supposed to have it. At least, I cannot be traveling from here to Kano now. You now tell me that my speed should be 60 km per hour. It means I will get there maybe in a week. So when you talk of speed regulation, there should still be guides.
Yeah, but the road should also be good. Don't you think, because I've witnessed one event like that, coming from Ibadan, a private car just passed us by, and by the time we meet him in the front, he's already under a trailer. Yes. A already spoiled packed trailer. Even not on the road, beside the road.
Yes.
How did they get there?
It's not unlikely.
So, don't you think the Fashola understand what is?
I also understand what I am talking about.
Okay.
Fashola may understand what he's talking about. He's just taking just an aspect of the causes of accident that I have mentioned earlier. Said negligence, overspeeding, because people want to make more money. And that's why I said commercial vehicles are much more into this. And if you see private vehicle involved in overspeeding, you will know that the love of money is the root of all evil. He's running for a business somewhere and needed to meet up with that appointment. And maybe he has been held up somewhere on the way. There was a day my wife was coming from Ilesha back to Lagos, and by 6 o'clock he was already at Ibadan. He got to Lagos the next day. Why? Because between Iwo Road and Guru Maharaji, it took about 3-4 hours.
Because of the hold-up, all the bad road?
Go slow. At a point, he said the vehicle was remaining at a spot for more than an hour without moving just 1 inch. So is it overspeeding?
No.
If anything should happen to them there that night, are we going to be talking of overspeeding or not following the speed regulation?
Let's go to the next one.
So there are a lot of factors that are responsible for accident.
Okay. Ogoni
Fashola is only tackling one of it.
Ogoni elders cries out over elders with AK-47. These are Ogoni people now that are clamoring, that are begin to cry out. Why will an elder come when you are taking care of your cow? You still come along with AK-47. Is it not that they have their own mission?
I think we should still devote enough time to talking about this issue of herdsmen and insecurity in the country. More so when the president said he's still throwing his weight behind open grazing. It's quite unfortunate that the Ogoni people are just crying out now, which means it's just spreading to them. A lot of people have been crying out for ages. Ask the people in Benue. They are closer to the north, and that's why we call them the middle belters. They have been suffering from this, and at a point, do you know that the population of the thieves in Ekiti presently is more than the people in some villages where they migrated to. I am talking from experience. If you go to places like Ikole local government, By the time you move inward to Itapaji, Okeako, Irele, even going towards the borderline with Kogi, you will see a lot of the thief farmers there. At the point they were agitating that they should come and set up schools for them in the I was there, I saw it, and that's what I'm talking about. So why are they there? Is it that there is no land in Benue State again? They have land, but because of insecurity, they all ran down. And by the time the herdsmen started attacking people there again, the thieves said, we ran away for you from our place. You still follow us to this place. That is the situation. So the issue of herdsmen attacking communities or moving around with AK-47 is a serious matter. And by the time this thing was coming up gradually, and people were being sensitized about it, the moment you talk about herdsmen killing farmers, the president will only talk of was only concerned about cattle rustling. He always called it, I was watching that time, he will only say cattle rustlers, cattle rustlers. We are not talking of cattle rustlers, we are talking of herdsmen carrying AK-47, killing farmers on their farm, not that somebody is taking their cattle. Cattle rustler are those people that attack the Fulanis, take over their cattle, and let's go away with the cattle.
Yeah, Islamic cleric Sheikh Gume has a proposal to check Nigerians' booming banditry industry, amnesty, rehabilitation, and jobs for repentance criminals, possibly as farm or forest guard. The alternative, he warns, is more incriminating killing and adoption, but not everyone agrees that forgiveness is what the solutions need. Now it's advising government, they should turn the bandits to forest guard or probably make them farmers.
Okay, thank you very much. Gumi is a good advisor. He has done justice to it. And we say thank you for his good advice. Some people came all the way from the north and they are attacking the farmers down south here. And you now said employ those people as forest guard. Where do we have the forest? It's in the south. So why are they supposed to guide our forest for them? What people are talking about is that let the Fulanis, the killer herdsmen, go back to their land.
So wherever they come from.
They can be guiding their savannah and not the forest. Being in the forest here is detrimental to our peaceful existence. So that we should rehabilitate them. No, go back to your land. We were at peace before they came. They can't create problem now. We will now take them up and employ them as forest guards. And there is a lot of mistake, a lot of misconceptions are coming up here. By the time the land use decree was promulgated in 1978, the power to hold land ceded from the federal government is the state government that has power to hold the land in trust for the. So federal government has no control over land. It is the state government that controls the land. So, but when you call the state governor the chief security officer of a particular state and he doesn't have control over the police, talk to the commissioner of police in that state, he will tell you that he has to take order from the inspector general of police and in Abuja. So which that is confessing the fact that there is just a figurehead governor, not the chief security officer of the state. So now for us to now, it's like you have your house. Because you want peace, you must take a Fulani man to be your gate man and secure you. So at will, when he wants to end your life, he will now kill you. Thank you, Gumi, for your advice. You have said well.
Okay. I'm called to Jimo Ibrahim, Nikon Hotel for sales. The issue of Jimo Ibrahim, what do you say about this?
About the
sales of Nikon Hotel.
Nikon Hotel. Okay. Whatever the law says, I think is what should be followed. And what does the laws? What is the law that established AMCOM? Says it's just to, when people go to bank, they borrow money.
Yes.
And by the time they borrow the money, they use it for something else. And they seldom pay back. Because they don't bother to pay back, okay, the government now said, okay, this company that is borrowing this money from the bank, come. You've taken this money to run your business and you are not paying back. Let us take over that business. AMCOM is at liberty to take over such business and run it and generate income to pay the debts being owed. But if AMCOM discover that there is no way they can recover that money, AMCOM can take over the business completely. Because where you have borrowed this money, AMCOM would have paid the money back to that bank so that the bank will not collapse. So then the company belongs to AMCOM. So if AMCOM has taken over that business and decided now that, okay, the best thing is for me to sell it off, so be it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, thank you
for giving, doing justice to this.
Thank you for having me on the program.
And we believe when we call you next time, you're going to attend.
It's always my pleasure being with you here. So anytime you need me, I'll come by the special grace of God.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
This is where we draw the curtain of today's headlines review. Till we come again next time to your TV station. This is Just TV Plus. I'm BC Arobusoye. From me and my crew, we say remain blessed.